Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Gauntlet podcast. I'm here with all my guys on here every single week, talking about the NFL, talking about everything that's going on. So, how you guys doing tonight, man? Are you guys ready to talk about some football stuff?
Doing well, always
good.
Yes, sir.
We just got through the first week of preseason. I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Some hot talent out there. I said let's get it rolling.
I will say before we start this, we do this on Tuesday nights now, usually around like 8:15, 8:30 that we start it. In 2 weeks, I'll be on an airplane to Chicago. However, I'm gonna still try and be on the show. I'm gonna try and do it from the hotel or whatnot.
From the hotel room, straight from the hotel. That's what I'm talking about. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get to the news of the week. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of topics we are going to talk about tonight. First one is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are the first team to reach a vaccination rate of 100%. All their staff, all their players are considered fully vaccinated, which being fully vaccinated means you got your second shot. It's been at least 2 weeks since you got your second shot. So you know what does this really mean for the rest of the league? I don't exactly know, because the NFL is not mandating that people get vaccinated. But for there to be a team that all their guys are vaccinated, I think it's good. I think it's a good sign, and maybe more teams will follow suit. I think that would be good. But props to the Falcons for being the first team to get it done.
I think that definitely is a good thing, and hopefully more teams follow suit. Ultimately, regardless of how people may feel about the vaccine, you don't want to be the one that costs your team. I mentioned a brief something, and it's going to allude to my point here. People have to realize that I do not foresee the president shutting the country back down. Reason being is because they don't want to have to pay out so much COVID relief. So they're going to start finding ways to mandate this vaccine, And with the NFL imposing these penalties in the case of an outbreak and you can't play a game and whatnot, that actually should probably drive the stake home for players to. Now it's like guys like DeAndre Hopkins, they're pretty much in a corner now. It's like either get it or you're not going to play. And I would not be surprised if coaches start telling their team, players on their team, that if you're not vaccinated, don't bother suiting up.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I think it's listen, I don't have Atlanta winning a lot of football games this year, but this is a win for the Atlanta Falcons franchise, being 100% vaccinated. I think that's actually a really cool thing for them going forward. It's good for like Kyle Pitts, for example, being in the Rookie of the Year, talks this year, probably more than likely. It's good if you're picking. Look, hey, it's good for fantasy owners everywhere. If you're looking at the draft or playing fantasy football and you see Calvin Ridley there and he's 100% vaccinated, it's like, hey man, I don't have to worry about that. So he might be a solid pick. So it's good for fantasy fans too.
I think if it was a more relevant, like currently relevant franchise and a more storied franchise historically, I think a little bit more. I think it would be a much better look for the league if it was someone like, God forbid, Dallas or the Patriots, but someone's got to set the precedent. And
absolutely.
I would imagine teams
Atlanta, a little bit more of a blue area of the country, Dom, than Dallas, Texas.
Yeah,
you're right.
I wasn't
right.
I didn't even like I can't even talk. The political side of things didn't even really enter my mind when I was making my point, but that is a solid point. But yeah, they're not going for that in Dallas for sure.
Yep, yeah. For real. Now, staying on the topic of being vaccinated, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders have become the first team in the NFL that is going to require people to prove their vaccination in order to attend games. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel that more teams should be doing this?
I thought Buffalo already did that.
I didn't hear anything about Buffalo, but
Now I wonder if with the Raiders, I think this is cool. I'm fine with this, obviously. I think everyone here on Talking is going to be fine with it because everyone's vaccinated here. But I will say that with the Raiders, they do have like with their new stadium, didn't they say they're putting like little boxes where you can party at, like have a little party crew of friends,
it's like a miniature nightclub.
So they're going to be a little. So I think it's good for them in particular to have, proof of vaccination in Vegas because they're going to be a lot more closer in contact with one another in the Death Star. That's what it looks like.
It's the real.
I think that, and once again, their countries are starting to open up their borders now, and they're requiring proof of vaccination. You're going to have to show proof of vaccination to even attend a cruise. My sister's going on a cruise this Saturday, and she's fully vaccinated.
And that makes sense. And that makes sense, Jay, because once again, you're really in close quarters with people on a cruise. You have meals together. Anyone that's been on a cruise kind of understands that, I think. You're in close quarters.
It's even more crucial because if someone pops hot, you're literally in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you got to be a lot more precaution doing stuff like
that. They don't have the luxury of just leaving the stadium. Like, they're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. What you going to do? Water? So once again, I will say.
Hopefully they can swim good.
And I'm speaking this from the most neutral standpoint possible. Do not be surprised if other teams follow suit. What the Raiders
I think other teams should.
What the Raiders are doing and what the Falcons are doing. Now, I don't expect Jerry Jones' stubborn ass to do anything about it, but expect every other team to follow suit. Don't be shocked.
I mean, people don't understand. This is the problem I have with America or Americans in general. Not to be political, but this is the problem I have with people. People act like everything is a right. People say, all the time, you're violating my rights. People don't know what rights and privileges are. Privileges is something that's different than, your God-given rights. Going to an NFL game is a privilege, and privileges can be taken from people if you don't show that you're a responsible adult.
I think it's kind of a calculated risk on the Raiders' part because if you remember, they opened that stadium last year and they had no fans all season, correct?
Right.
Well, that was still during COVID. It'll be different this year.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken,
having a stadium open with no fans, and now they're gonna. And I don't get me wrong, I'm for it, but it's a calculated risk. But I definitely think it's the right move.
You know what the first, and as far as Allegiant Stadium goes, you know what the first event that will have every single fan in attendance at Allegiant Stadium this Saturday, WWE SummerSlam.
Oh, hell yeah!
That'll be the first event where every single seat will be filled.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's to James's point, I do think it's a luxury. I mean, if you really don't want to and you still want to watch football, then don't go to the football games. Watch it on TV from your home if you believe, you're against it for whatever reason, but just getting into a nightclub or paying for alcohol or stuff like that, you still have to prove that you're what age you are. So it's really no different to have some credentials to get in somewhere for entertainment. So
yeah, I mean, if you really love your team, you really want to go to the games, even if you're against it, that's a sacrifice you should be willing to make.
Yeah.
If the Eagles if they required vaccination, I would have no problem with it. If they did, if I was a person that didn't want to get the vaccine, then I would get it just so I can go to the games. Because I at least go to a couple games every year. So I'm not gonna be petty to the point where I'm taking a stand and I'm going to boycott my own team because they're requiring it. That's what some of these fans are doing, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of these people they're up in arms about this.
And really, if they don't want to go to the games, there are plenty of other alternatives. You can watch it from a bar down the street. You know what I mean? They're going to televise it at all those bars. They're not going to make you prove vaccination because they're going to want to get money for liquor sales anyway. For people
for real.
there. So, there are alternatives, and that's really where I'm at. So it's a privilege, or a luxury, I should say.
I wish I could, not being vaccinated and field forcing vaccinations as an excuse not to go. I'm just not going to go because I'm not giving the Lions any of my money at home.
Good point.
Good point. Yeah.
I've been boycotting home games for like 3 or 4 years now. Like I still go to at least one road game every year. It's just way fun. And especially
for all the teams, Dom.
It's not fun to go
for the
to
Pistons, for the Tigers.
Wait, say that again.
For the Pistons, for the Tigers, for the Red Wings, all of them.
No, just the Lions.
Just the Lions. Okay. Motown Kitty Cats.
Like, a road game in the NFL is always so much more fun. Like you go for a whole weekend. I have friends all over the country, and I know chances are the game probably won't be that competitive. So I got out of town, got to see friends I don't see on a regular basis, got to do some other stuff that wouldn't be able to do in Detroit. Plus the tickets are always way cheaper.
No, I agree. I think road games are fun too. I do think there's a sense of
field. I can
pride.
get 100 level tickets. Damn near.
Some road games are fun.
Yeah,
but wouldn't you rather be around your own fans?
It depends. Like James, I actually see what you're saying. Like I have a hard time going to like arch rivals stadiums necessarily.
That's the best.
So you would never go to see the Vikings and Packers like in Minnesota?
Ooh.
While I haven't been
the Purple Freaks,
the Vikings,
to get some of my bum ass friends to go to Lambeau, and no one ever wants. One of these years, I'm probably just gonna have to go by myself.
You should go.
I want to.
You should definitely go. Like I would go, but I'm not gonna go unless they're playing the Eagles. But
right.
Yeah, I would go and freeze my ass off in Lambeau just once in my life.
Well, that's a Cliff. Shout out.
I really
Cliff.
want to do that. That's like on my football bucket list.
Shout out Cliff Betts, but he was trying to get me to go this year. We were because the Browns were gonna play the Packers, but then we found out it was on Christmas Day, and we're like, well, we can't do that. Like we all have families, we have shit to do. So
I went to a game in Cincinnati on Christmas Eve. We lost and missed the.
That sucks.
I still went, and we drove.
I would have went. I really would have went if it was like it was the worst day to go. They scheduled that shit on Christmas Day, and it's like I usually get pretty busy around the holidays, so
that's the thing.
On Christmas Day, that's got to be like an experience of its own,
right?
Yeah,
I mean NFL on Christmas.
It's gonna be cold in Lambeau too.
Everyone talks about the NBA on Christmas, but the NFL is going to be on Christmas this year, so there's going to be some competition right there. So. I wonder how it's going to work.
Wait, what day of the week is Christmas this year? Sunday?
I forgot.
I can look it up real quick for you.
It might. Yeah.
I don't know what day it is.
Packers, Browns, though. Those are like two contenders.
Packers, Browns, and Colts. The Colts are playing somebody.
They play on two. Let's see. They're on a Saturday.
The Colts and the Cardinals.
Okay, so there will be like 2, 3, maybe 4 games. Probably 3 at the most.
I think it's just 2, right?
There's just 2, and then there's like a bunch of NBA games.
Yeah, 4 or 5 NBA games.
Don't worry. By then, the Packers will be out of the playoff race.
Oh, shut up. All right, let's talk about
Lions would be long gone out of the playoff race. That's good.
Seattle Seahawks. The Lions are already automatically eliminated from the playoff position, but we won't go there.
We're out of the playoff race right now.
I know.
That's what I just said.
I know it.
So the Seahawks signed Jamal Adams to a 4-year extension worth $70 million. Well, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Not worth it.
It really didn't. It really didn't bother me any. I'm always a big fan of go get your money. I think he's the best player on a bad defense. So I think that outside, as far as people on the team in general, outside of Russell Wilson, yes, he's worthy of the money. He's out of that bad situation in New York. He's finally on a good team, a team that can contend any given year. We talked about the NFC West just last week. Now they have to put a team around him. And I don't expect them to go back to the Legion of Boom days, but can they sneak into the playoffs and win a couple of games, maybe reach the NFC Championship game? Sure. Again, Russell Wilson is their quarterback, so never count him out. But as far as Jamal Adams, he needs to be the captain of that defense. So I was with it.
If you're going to spend money on the fucking offensive line in Seattle. To me, it's like, they have really not done anything to help Russell. And with And with Jamal Adams signing, like I still feel that way. Like I feel like they're really like they need to spend money elsewhere sometimes, and they don't.
Less terrible than it was, but it was also like
they have that cap space.
It was like,
damn, what's good, my guy.
I mean, he's still going to be out there running.
It's so funny when we do do it on YouTube with Philly Jim up here and the top left corner because it's like nonstop Eagle fans.
Mm-hmm.
They're all Eagle fans, yeah.
There's a lot of Eagles fans in this community, but we're also like talking about other topics outside of just the Eagles. So here are my thoughts on the signing of Jamal Adams. I'm not a fan of it at all whatsoever. I think they overpaid him. I think they overpaid trading for him. I think they gave up too much assets in the first place. I also think they overpaid him financially with that contract. He's a safety that specializes in blitzing. He is not good in coverage, and there are great playmakers in that division. George Kittle, you got to see him twice a year. DeAndre Hopkins, you got to see him twice a year.
That's right.
He cannot cover, and that's a lot of money to invest in a guy that is a liability in coverage. So that is why I feel that the Seahawks overpaid, and I'm not really the biggest fan of the signing.
But to Jay's point about, Jay, you say go get your money, and I see a little bit of your point on this because this is the NFL, so people just overpay. This is what they do in this league.
That's what they do.
A lot of people get.
It's not as bad as the NBA, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. It's not as bad as the NBA, no. But then again, in the NBA, there's guys that bet on themselves that are worth a lot of money and get shit too. So
yeah,
shout out Dennis Schroeder.
I mean, I'm pretty sure like Jamal,
little p-head.
Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah,
he was already the sports moron of the week last week, but yeah,
look what he did, and now he's on that 1-year prove-it deal. Of course, Jamal Adams gonna take the money. If anyone gets offered $70 million, they ain't turn it down.
I mean, you could get hurt. You could get hurt and lose everything.
It applies to every athlete.
I was actually kind of disappointed when he signed that contract because I wanted to see if it was going to go down to the franchise tag and see if he could weasel his way into the linebacker tag instead of the safety tag. Same thing that tight ends go through. First one I remember was years ago.
He's pretty much a linebacker.
Jimmy Graham was arguing for the wide receiver tag because he lined up more snaps throughout the season in the slot at wideout, so he was saying he deserved wide receiver money, which I agreed with. Because Jimmy Graham is not a tight end. That dude can't block a gentle breeze.
That's true. He sucked at blocking.
It's so weird that he like even kind of somewhat, I'm not going to give him too much credit, but he somewhat resurrected like his career in Chicago because in Green Bay he was so bad, coming from Seattle or coming from Seattle and then New Orleans. New Orleans, but yeah, Seattle, New Orleans, and then fell off in Green Bay. He was really bad in Green Bay. So
really good.
That dude done played with some top tier quarterbacks. Man.
He's a pilot, you know that?
Yeah.
The last really good O-lineman that the Seahawks had, they traded for Jimmy Graham. It was younger.
That's stupid.
And now they're considering not paying Dwayne Brown, who is their current best offensive lineman.
Yep.
So not a great idea.
And I think that Alvin Smith on the Seahawks is in trouble right now for like a battery situation going on right now too. So Seattle's got some.
That's not great.
Got some turmoil going on in their franchise.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's move on and let's talk about some more news that happened this week. Tebow mania, Tebow time is officially over. Jacksonville Jaguars announced Tim Tebow is no longer a part of the team. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Absolutely not surprised. I said this.
I said see how terrible he was when he was trying to block people.
And I said this when he went there. I said, it is, for one, you are a 34-year-old man trying to play a different position, right? Playing quarterback. And two, I knew that speed was going to be an issue. And then you watch the blocks. You watch him, try and block shed against the Browns. And, yeah, not surprised. Same with, like, baseball. The thing with baseball is, like, he could hit the piss out of like a high fastball when people are throwing it, but he had so much problems when people are throwing curveballs. He had trouble with the curve, so he couldn't pan out in baseball, and that's why he didn't, move up there.
Yeah. The cut doesn't come as a shock to me.
He's back to SEC Network.
That's what happens when you're 34 and you're playing a position that you ain't never played before.
God, he was there.
I mean, he missed on those 2 bad blocks, and I immediately was like, because I was back and forth between that one and the Texans Packers game, so I really didn't get to see him play. But when I got the alerts on Bleacher Report, and I was like, oh shoot, this is gonna be bad. And he didn't even last. He didn't even last the preseason. So,
what is he even doing?
Fucking yikes, dude! Seriously.
What is?
Oh my god.
He's a 34-year-old.
He ran his shoulder into him and spun around and fell down.
Dude's got gigantic biceps, but man,
no technique.
Yeah.
I think this is the second one
that they finally ended this sad saga, because I was just afraid all season. Like, man, if they keep this dude on the roster and some other
slow too
gets cut to give Tebow a roster, I was going to be pissed.
I wonder how many people are pissed that they bought Tebow jerseys and now he didn't even make the team.
Man, shame on them for even buying them, to be honest.
How dare you support that travesty?
Yeah, like you guys telling me, like, to be honest, if you're going to spend money on a Tebow jersey over, like, for one, you got Trevor Lawrence, but you can't even get, like, a James Robinson, a DJ Chark, like, jersey. You're going to go out and get a Tebow one? Like, shame
as soon as they signed Tebow, those jerseys sold out.
Did they get the reassurance policy? I
think they did, but still.
Does that still count? Because usually it's when a player is traded, but when they're released, do you still get the policy on the reassurance?
I don't think so.
It's a stupid rule.
They should get.
It shouldn't be that way, bro. Like I would be pissed.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it though. No, but
this goes back to what we were saying. I think we had this discussion when he signed. Do you know that there's guys that's actually played tight end before that could have been signed, but you want to sign Tim Tebow to hype people up because Tim Tebow's a big name. He's going to put people in their seats. People are going to want to watch and all this other stuff. The guy can't play. He can't play tight end. Can't play quarterback, and now we know he can't play tight end. So, I mean, no disrespect to Tim Tebow, but I never want to see him in the NFL again in any position.
It's also like one of the worst areas in Florida. Like, honestly, I live in Florida, and Jacksonville's such a shithole. Like, Duval County in general, that is a shithole.
It is?
It'll be
and their stadium sucks, bro. Like,
is there even anything to do there?
They have another Super Bowl in Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to do there. Tebow lives there, though. He does live in, I believe he's like neighbors with Urban Meyer too. So like, it's kind of
it's gonna be awkward.
Yeah. The best thing about the Jaguars is their mascot. Like their mascot does like jump off of like bungee cords and does crazy shit. He is a crazy mascot. I'll give him that. But they don't even market him. Like, if you're in Jacksonville, you should be like...
Sucks.
The best thing about the Jaguars is they get moved to London.
Will the Jaguars ever win a Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so. It's hard for me to say that because I know anything can happen.
Super Bowl.
I mean, their best shot was like...
No chance.
A couple years
2017.
ago. Yeah. Saxonville.
That was their best shot right there.
Yeah, Saxonville.
That was their best chance.
And just like that, the window shut. And see, that's why I don't put too much stock into whenever people say a championship window. Because championship windows can actually last a little longer than you think, and they can always shut at the blink of an eye.
But I will
literally went from a top-tier AFC team to the bottom of the barrel in 1 year.
I guess I should have rephrased that because we're saying, could a team ever win a Super Bowl? And if I'm like looking at it, like I never would have saw the days that the Browns have turned into a Super Bowl contender, because the Browns were the Browns for the longest time when they brought them back from the expansion. And then like Buffalo, for example, they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row, but now Buffalo is, one of the favorites to win the AFC possibly. So I guess it's possible. It's just, man,
I don't see it happening in my lifetime.
Possible. I mean, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think in my
Anything's
lifetime.
possible, but is it going to happen?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think in my lifetime.
I mean,
I don't think
well,
in my lifetime.
well, here's the thing. Everybody knows that sports is cyclic. You know what I mean? And okay,
It ain't
Kyle,
gonna fucking
I'll use
happen.
you for an example. So the Green Bay Packers was like the greatest team in the '60s, right?
Mm.
So then the '70s and '80s kind of average, even with Magic Man Don Majkowski, and then y'all got Brett Favre. Then it started all over again. You see, I remember once upon a time the Patriots were an afterthought till Tom Brady got there.
It's true.
I remember once upon a time the Buccaneers were an afterthought, and then they won a Super Bowl. And then, you know, so sports is cyclic, dude. You know, like,
And then
you're gonna have
they
your
became an
runs.
afterthought again.
No, they changed the uniforms. That's not
Yeah.
for the whole time from there until when they changed their uniforms, they were a joke.
Oh, when they wore the creamsicles, that's when they were bad. Yeah, because they did win one when they had
I thought you loved those
Warren
uniforms.
Sapp and Derek Brooks and
You said you
Brad
loved those
Johnson
uniforms.
under the helm.
Dom,
What'd you say?
you said you loved those uniforms, but now you're bashing them.
Love them.
I think he's bashing the team.
Ever other than maybe the Houston Oilers.
Oh, Houston Oilers had some fucking sick jerseys.
The Houston Oilers have the best uniforms in sports of all time.
Columbia blue
dope.
with the
Powder
red,
blue,
the white.
Yeah.
baby blue, whatever kind of blue it is.
Yeah.
That's the real shit right there.
That Warren Moon throwback, huh?
Moon,
Hey, what
do you want?
Yeah.
War Moon had a rocket arm.
Yeah, he was in Canton too. Like
Yep, the dude's a stud.
he around the Hall of Fame enshrinement too. He was like doing a thing for like the military. He's a very big advocate.
Is Warren Moon not in the Hall of Fame?
Who?
I think he is, isn't he? Is Warren Moon in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think that he is.
I know he was there for the enshrinement.
Oh, he better be in the hall. He's not in the hall.
Warren Moon is in the Hall of Fame.
He's
Warren
in the
Moon
hall.
Is he?
Warren Moon,
He's in the hall.
Yeah, 2006.
Okay.
2006.
Warren Moon is the only player in history to be both in the Canadian Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. You damn right he's in the hall. He's in two of them.
Yes, he's in the hall.
Yes.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm glad
in the United States.
I'm glad we settled that. All right, so let's talk about the first week of this past preseason. All this stuff. There's a lot of games. I mean, I don't know if you guys were watching all the games or you only watched a few games. I didn't personally watch any games other than the Eagles, but I did see like a bunch of highlights from players that really showed out. So, who are some guys that you guys were impressed with? Guys that you see taking this opportunity to show out and show what they could do, even if it was against fourth stringers.
So I got
good. Go ahead, Jay.
So the two quarterbacks that stood out to me was both Justin Fields and of the Bears and Sam Ehlinger with the Colts. Now we all know that Carson Wentz is injured until they said at most week 12. So right now it's going to be outside of signing some veteran off the street. It's going to be out of Jacob Eason or Sam Ehlinger. I thought Ehlinger, he did throw one bad interception, but it was early in the half. But outside of that, I thought that his poise was good. He did exactly what he did at Texas. When it's not open, use your legs. So, some may say that his legs is a better asset than his arm. I always questioned over the years at Texas, would he ever develop an NFL arm? I see it now. And even though it's preseason, he did lead a game-winning drive. The Colts did win on a field goal in the last 10 seconds. But I was impressed with what I saw there out of Sam Ehlinger. Justin Fields, it was like he put an Ohio State jersey on all over again. He went like something like 14-20. He had 2 scores. He ran a touchdown in. He also threw one. Now
he started off kind of rough in that game, though.
Yeah.
The first drive when they had, he was a little, but he got his feet wet, and started playing better.
Sometimes that's what it takes too. And I know that we talked about this at the before the show. I feel it's worthy to put it back on the air. Is when he at the press conference when he said, I felt that the game was slow. And I asked the viewers out there not to put too much stock into what he said because the media, they cut that into like a half a quote. What he really said was practicing against the Bears defense helped slow it down for me. And so I rocked with it. I know it's only in week 1, but I was impressed with those two. Those were the two that stood out to me.
For me, I've only watched a few games and seen highlights, kind of like James said and alluded to, but I did watch the Packers. I was impressed with Jordan Love. I thought, for not playing for 2 years, not taking any reps, and then finally played in the preseason game, and he did look pretty good. Honestly, he was finding his connections, he was finding punches, and I was impressed with him. But the one that stood out the most to me in preseason, because I think it might have the biggest impact on the season, is Javonte Williams, the running back for the Denver Broncos. I think he's going to beat out Melvin Gordon at some point and win the job even. And he had like 2 touchdowns, 140 yards. Like, he looks pretty good. And Denver's not a great football team, as we all know. We all kind of think Denver's poop. So I do think that plays a factor for them going forward, because I think Javonte Williams might become the first string running back.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, I think there was a lot of good moments for these guys. Like you said, Jordan Love. He really I really didn't know how good Jordan Love is or was, because I didn't pay attention to him at college. But he had a throw, man. He threw a strike across the middle to the tight end. So he was balling for real. Justin Fields was balling for real too. I mean, he was making some throws, rolling out, using his legs. Trey Lance was doing it too. He was putting the work. A lot of these rookie quarterbacks were putting the work in. Mac Jones was too.
So, the Browns, the Browns backups. Case Keenum was ripping it too for the Browns. Honestly, Dom, did you see that game?
I can't believe you just said Mac Jones.
I mean, he was looking good. You got to give him credit.
13 completions for
Mac Jones is not that good of a quarterback, but he's like the perfect.
It's a good system for him.
He's like the perfect quarterback for the Patriots, because the Patriots. It's hard to explain what Bill Belichick does, but he just has like a weird system that works. Like, that's why Jimmy G was looking good for them. That's why Tom Brady was looking good for them. And that's why this guy is doing good for them. They're not going to ask him to do a lot of stuff. They're just going to ask him to be more have good anticipation with his throws. It's all going to be about timing, where these guys are going to run their routes. They're going to say, hey, this guy's going to be open right here. So you got to be able to put the ball right there at the right time. Yeah, and that's how it's going to work for Mac Jones. He's not a talented guy, but he can run a system like that for real.
The ball over. He came in very pro ready, but the sad fact is he has a low ceiling. Like, his ceiling's so low, if I walked into that room, I would have to duck down. But that's here nor there.
Who'd you rather have, Mac Jones or Daniel Jones right now?
Mac Jones.
Oh,
I don't trust Daniel Jones.
I'm going Mac Attack.
But I will say,
we don't really know what he is yet.
Until I see different, I'm going with Mac Jones. Daniel Jones
we know what he is.
Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. That's my biggest problem with him.
He cut down.
He sucks.
He cuts down the turnovers. I'm picking DJ. But right now, as of this question, this moment, give me Mac.
I just and being a Packer fan and giving Jordan Love a lot of credit, but I will say, for anyone that's watching this, there's a lot of good quarterbacks that look good in preseason. We saw Drew Lock look pretty good in week 1 in preseason. So I don't want to. I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to go too crazy.
I have no comment on that. I have nothing to say.
Rugg loves Drew Lock.
Y'all can take that one. Y'all can have that one.
As far as starting quarterbacks go, and I said this, I believe, maybe a month ago when we were talking about the worst quarterbacks in the league, he is number 30 for me.
I'll say this.
He's 32, actually. 32 for me is what
everybody should be paying attention to. Quez Watkins, second-year receiver. He was a 5th-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. He basically has been everything that people thought Jalen Reagor was going to be as a first-round pick. He completely outran the defense. He's literally a track star. He was a track star in college. he outran the entire defense. Like the Steelers' defense was making him look like he was Tyreek Hill. He should have had over 180 yards easily, but Jalen Hurts, his ball placement was a little bit off. But he had his man beat earlier for a touchdown, and then he actually scored on like an 80-yard screen pass from Joe Flacco. So you know what? I think that there's a lot of unknowns with the Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers, but they got young guys that are hungry and want to prove what they can do. And I think Quez Watkins is gonna contribute for real.
How's that running back Gainwell or whatever?
He's good. He's just I don't see him playing very much because the Eagles have a lot of talent in the backfield. We have Jordan Howard. We have Boston Scott. Miles Sanders is going to be he's clearly going to be the starter. But he has like the fourth string running back. I think that's going to be how it plays out. And then the Eagles waived Kerryon Johnson, formerly of the Lions,
his knee
today.
He sucks. Yeah.
He's injury prone.
He sucks.
He cannot stay healthy. So
yeah.
Terrible draft pick.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
We can't draft running backs in the late first or early second round for shit.
Why did you draft him?
I know.
I feel like but I will say I like Jamal Williams in Green Bay, and he's in Detroit now. So like maybe it'll be a matter of time until Jamal Williams works his way up that depth chart.
I think Williams might finish the season with more rushing yards than DeAndre Swift, and I think
it's possible. He runs hard and he don't fumble the ball. That's something that Jamal does really good. He's a good at holding on to that football.
I'm already starting to think that DeAndre Swift might be a bad draft pick because he's hurt again already. And
really?
It's only preseason, bro. He'll be.
I thought that's who you're targeting I thought that's who you're targeting in our fantasy draft.
I'm not targeting him. I was asking Dom.
I'm saying Dom.
I was asking Dom if it would be worth drafting him.
He'll be drafted. He'll be like a third or fourth round pick, probably even.
I had him in my big money fantasy league last year. I made the playoff.
Hawkinson's the one to get for Detroit, though.
Yeah, it's weird though. I
don't think I'm going to draft anyone on the Lions for real.
Hawkinson would be worth drafting in the late rounds. Like he's going to put up numbers.
I think he's not going to go in the late rounds. I mean,
he'll go mid round.
He's probably a top tier. He's probably like a top tier tight end.
It's funny though. The big money league that I've been in since like
I like tight ends though. Now
I
usually go low early.
You don't even have to draft a tight end if you don't want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My best player led.
See, like now, like I treat some of those tight ends like they're just like number one wide receivers, though. Like some of them are so good, like Kelsey and Kittle and Waller. Like those dudes are stat machines. Like
they get yards.
Kittle getting injured ruined a lot of people's season last year.
Yeah, that's a big one.
He's a beast.
But he's going to have a resurgent year, I think, this year. And as soon as Trey Lance comes in, I feel like that Lance and Kittle connection could be real dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean,
because I think Lance is going to be good from what I'm seeing.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, I think he might be the. He might even be the best rookie quarterback. He might even be the best rookie quarterback. Who knows?
They have a good O-line and
I don't know yet.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, literally anyone could win that division, and I would say Arizona has
all of those teams are going to win 10 games at least.
Yeah, but I will say the team that you picked on, Seattle, seems like the team that is having the most like turmoil. I
think Seattle's the worst team. I think we already had this discussion though last week.
Turmoil in the offseason 3-4 years in a row, and they always make the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they got fucking destroyed by Jared Goff, who wasn't even supposed to play.
Yes, they did. That's another thing I don't understand about that. Like, he's so hurt that he can't play, but then the backup is hurt. Here comes Jared Goff.
He tore their ass up.
He said, "Here comes Jared Goff."
Jared.
That was kind of embarrassing for the Seahawks. I don't know how they're going to rebound from that.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been the same team ever since.
That again, week one will go out on offense.
They've just been cursed, a cursed team ever since they didn't give Marshawn Lynch the ball on the 1 yard line. It just hasn't been the same fucking team.
I think the one thing they got going for, and I said this last week when we were on here, is that there are fans in the stands, so the 12th man will be loud. That's about the bit.
It's a tough place to play.
Yeah,
Russell
that's
Wilson's
about
a good quarterback, but
but
I don't think their overall team is good.
As far as Pete Carroll's bubble gum chewing ass, I don't think they're gonna win.
Always chewing gum on the side.
He always chews like he's a goat, bro. Like he's.
I don't know. This dude is he kind of freaks me out sometimes when you ever see him at a press conference? Like I don't know. He has too much energy. He kind of
Errol, he's on some upper.
He's on some kind of Adderall or something. Like I don't know what's wrong with him.
He got him from Richard Sherman.
He's on that white girl, huh?
Probably. And
like when I was going to college, a bunch of the people in my dorm used to take Adderall so they could stay up all night study for a test.
That's probably what he's doing. Y'all know he's older than Bill.
And they would smoke 800 cigarettes in like 30 minutes when they're on Adderall.
Yep.
So they just
Can attest.
That's true. That's so true. All right, guys. So how about we talk about another division? Let's talk about the NFC South. How do you guys see there's been a lot of
outside of the Bucs winning it, like everyone's gonna pick the Bucs to win it. Bro.
I mean, we all have the Bucs winning it, but do you guys think that this division is gonna be good, or do you guys think it's like not that good?
I don't think it's that good. No.
Awful.
I'm really not. You
think it's awful? I don't think it's awful.
Outside of Tampa, it is below average to terrible.
I don't know if any of them are playoff teams besides Tampa, though. I do agree with you. I don't know if the Saints are.
What if Jameis can lead the Saints to the playoffs? You don't think he can?
Jameis Winston, the starter.
As much as people talk trash.
Well, fucking what's his name ain't gonna be the starter. He's basically a wide receiver.
I agree. So why can't Jameis take the reins already?
You know what? As far as that division goes, as much as people talk trash about the AFC South, I actually think the NFC South is going to be a worse division. At least the AFC South has two playoff-worthy teams. The only ones I see in the NFC South is Tampa Bay.
Agreed. Top to bottom.
I actually agree with you, Jay, because I actually agree with you on this one.
The NFC East is the worst division in football.
Yeah.
Who's worse, the NFC East or the South?
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. If I am grading it, like comparing the two based off of the best team out of all 8 of those teams, it's Tampa, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, the NFC East, I feel like there's a lot more competitive teams. You guys heard me last week. I don't like Carolina. I think Carolina is a bad football team, and I think the same with Atlanta.
I don't think they're bad.
And I think the same
way. Why people think Carolina is anything other than below average right now.
I just don't think so. And I don't think Atlanta's good either. And with New Orleans, I think New Orleans might miss the playoffs. So I guess I would like Tampa's good. Tampa's great. Tampa's going to make the playoffs for sure. But the NFC East, I feel like there's going to be more competitive teams in there than Carolina and Atlanta, for example.
Yeah, I would say
being competitive and being good is two different things.
I feel like every team in the NFC East will be better than Carolina and Atlanta. I'll put that out there.
What about the Saints?
Say top to bottom, the East finishes with more wins.
I think the winner of the East is going to have more wins than the Saints. I think the second place team in the East will probably have more wins than the Saints too.
Oh wow! See. The NFC South.
Okay. I mean, not more than Tampa. Don't get me wrong. Tampa's gonna be better than all 8 of those teams combined.
But how are the other 3 going to finish?
East?
Yeah.
What if Tampa is not that good though? Because Tampa won the Super Bowl last year, but they did not win their.
They got hot. Yeah. But
East is going to win 10 games. The second place team will win 9.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to win a lot to win the South, though.
Right? No, you don't.
I think 10 wins will win you the South. 10 wins will win you the South, I think.
10 wins will win you the South, and I got Tampa winning 13.
Tampa going to win more than 10, though. They're going to win
for sure. I think
12.
12. I think about 12-5. I think they'll slip up to a couple of teams. Okay. Yeah, I think 12-5. I think they'll slip up to a couple teams. But I have Carolina winning 5.
Let me explain why I feel that Carolina's being slept on. They have a lot of good players that people are not showing enough respect to. DJ Moore's a damn good wide receiver who doesn't get the credit. He's pretty much had 1,000 yards every year of his career, and he doesn't really get the respect as being a top-tier wide receiver. Robbie Anderson's a good wide receiver. They drafted Terrence Marshall, who's another good wide receiver. They replaced Curtis Samuel with Terrence Marshall. The only thing they don't really have on offense is like a tight end. Christian McCaffrey's a stud. If he's so their offensive line is not the greatest, but it's not the worst. So I don't think they're as bad as everyone thinks they are. It's just about Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold sucks, then obviously they're going to suck. But if he's decent, then they could actually be not trash.
Defense, because their defense is bottom 5 in the NFL.
And
defense,
I don't know, man. They got some good players on defense too. They drafted JC.
They lost a lot of guys on defense though on that D line. They lost like 3 of them.
Brian Burns had double-digit sacks last year.
Sam Darnold.
They got some holes on that D line.
Statistical season of the year.
Dude, it's the exact same.
I want to say they're going to make the playoffs. I just don't think they're going to be dog trash.
You're different than me on that.
That we've all said about the Dallas Cowboys.
I think the Falcons are going to be dog trash, though. Yeah. I will say that. I think
they'll be trash too. Don't get me wrong. I think Atlanta's the worst team.
Okay.
Oh, I think Carolina's the worst team, but Atlanta's right there with them. I told Jay last week I had Carolina win 5 games and Atlanta winning 6 games. So
that sounds about right too. Like, I mean, it's the same thing that we said, and I'm hearing everything people say about Carolina, but it's the same thing we essentially said about the Cowboys. You can stack the offense however you want to, but if you can't stop nobody, you're not going to compete against very many teams that year.
Right, Atlanta.
So who has a better defense, the Panthers or the Cowboys?
Probably the Panthers.
Probably, yeah.
Their defense is so trash.
But
bro.
I trust Dak Prescott, and Dom, you might say whatever you want about, but I trust Dak Prescott a hell of a lot more than I fucking trust Sam Darnold.
Well, yeah, but that's obvious.
That's a quality.
Well, I know, but we're talking about weapons.
That's not saying much, though.
We're talking about weapons and what we can use, though, and like the best thing to do in the NFL is to run the football and to chew a lot of clock. And what you can do against Carolina is run the football and chew a lot of clock.
Unpopular opinion, I'm kind of actually concerned about Dak's long-term health. I don't know if anyone else is feeling this way, but it doesn't sound good to me. He got a second MRI for his shoulder after he already got a shoulder.
If he gets hurt, it is over.
Some Cowboys fans were telling me,
it's already.
They just got an MRI just because. I'm like, people don't get an MRI just because. People don't get an MRI for fun. They get an MRI because they feel like something isn't right. I just want to get it checked out again. So also he's coming off an ankle injury. So I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about Dak right now for real.
It was over for Dallas before the ink dried on his contract. Then when he came up with this shoulder injury, now it's really over. Megan's about sicking me with that meme that I made the other night.
My thing is that Dallas fans were so hard on Andy Dalton, the Red Ryder BB gun, I like to call him. They were so hard on him last year. But if Garrett Gilbert becomes their starter at any point this year, they're going to rethink all the Red Ryder BB gun stuff. Because Garrett Gilbert
Cowboys fans use the excuse that Dak would have led him to the playoffs or something last year. No, he wouldn't have. The team was still terrible before Dak got injured. They were
losing before the injury.
They were fucking still losing every game pretty much.
Come on. It's the thing about football. If you put up 38 points a game, theoretically, you should win that game, right? So how are you losing?
Because your defense is literally the worst in history.
I've been saying that about the Lions for about 10 years. I'm like, if we can just figure out a way to score 29 points a game, we might have a winning record.
I think it's weird.
Yeah, you still don't have a winning record.
And it's weird. Dallas just don't know how to run the football. And I honestly think their backup running back behind Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, I don't even think he's that bad of a running back. They just don't run the football.
Their line is not nearly as good as it was 3-4 years ago.
They ran the football better when they had Jason Garrett. Mike McCarthy is where running backs go to die. Every good running back on the Packers, they did not get enough carries. Like James Starks and people like that. This dude would never run the fucking ball. Like he's not, and he did it the same thing in Dallas his first year. So first of all, Mike McCarthy's trash. I don't think he's a good coach.
The last
I think he's obviously a product of getting carried to the Super Bowl by Aaron Rodgers. That's why everyone says, "Oh, well, he's Super Bowl winning head coach." Well,
and a compatible.
You got to look at the context of that because obviously he wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without great quarterback play, great defense, Charles Woodson, all those guys that they did have. So you know what? Like the guy's not a good coach. I'm worried about Dak's long-term health. So I don't know, man. I don't know about the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. And to Mike McCarthy's point, when he did win it, and yes, Aaron Rodgers balled out, and so Jordy Nelson, but yeah, compatible defense, like you said. Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews, Nick Collins, Sam Shields, BJ Raji. They had some guys.
They had a good team, bro.
All stars on that defense.
He's not a good coach. Like he's never even been a good coach. He's the reason why people say Aaron Rodgers has wasted his career. Because he was stuck with McCarthy all the time.
Yeah, people are saying that if it wasn't McCarthy there, that he'd probably have more than one ring for sure, and we wouldn't lose all those NFC.
They should have fired him before they did, like at least a few years.
He's a coach, but I think he's another one of the ones that's like he's still a head coach somehow, but he's out of touch with the way that the league goes now. Like that was a terrible hire for Dow. I mean,
yeah, and it was so smart. And it was so smart because before Dallas got him, the team that could have got him was the Cleveland Browns, and they picked Stefanski. They did the right move.
The fucking Browns, he was a great hire.
Yeah, because imagine if the Browns would have took McCarthy over Stefanski. I don't think we see him in the playoffs.
The Browns would be sucking right now. It would be bad.
Stefanski's a great hire. I was happy with that for him because Dom, as you know, like I wanted to get Stefanski out of our division. Like I thought he was a great coordinator, and I was like, all right, cool. I could roll with Mike Zimmer being the coach, on the sidelines, but like get Stefanski out of here. That opens the doors for us. So
yeah.
Okay, now that we're talking about coaches, let's talk about one more thing. Let's talk about what coaches do you guys feel they're really on the hot seat this year, or they're going to get fired?
Ooh.
I haven't thought about this in a while.
Yeah, let me think about it.
Either, bro. It's hard.
I know one. Can I roll with it? All right. Zach Taylor on the Cincinnati Bengals. He has to go, right? They can't hold on to these shitty-ass coaches for too long.
They kept Marvin Lewis for like 20 years.
I know. That's my problem with them. Their DNA is that they fucking hold on to these shitty coaches for way too long. It's almost the opposite of what Dom's Detroit Lions do. They get a bunch of coaches, and then when they get a good coach like Caldwell, they fucking throw him out the door.
Dare call Jim Caldwell a good coach because he's not.
He was a good coach. He's clearly the best coach you guys have had in like 20 years.
Jim Caldwell is the least terrible coach we've had.
The least terrible.
He did take the Lions to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
he fucking went to the Super Bowl with the Colts.
With someone else.
He went with Dungy's team, but okay.
With someone else's team.
That's true.
I mean, he still went. So
I just wanted to get
John Gruden went with Dungy's team too.
Yes, he did. He won.
He did.
Yeah. He did. No, but swear a minute.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson.
Like 5 years ago. I'm kind of glad we didn't make that move.
What?
I said John Gruden was who I wanted in Detroit like 5 years ago. I'm kind of glad we didn't make that move.
Man, he's getting paid to be the Raiders coach. He got that hefty.
He got way
contract.
Too much money. I got a hot one for y'all. Mike Tomlin. The Steelers have been going downhill for a while now.
This might be his first losing season, though.
They've been but they haven't been like a real championship contending team. And they've been continuing to go downhill. I don't even think they're going to be even close to making the playoffs.
Me either.
They're going to be third place for sure.
Offensive line is so bad.
I think they're going to win like 7 games.
Coaching 2 years ago when they scratched and clawed their way to 8-8 because I think he was about to be fired. That's the thing.
I mean, Andy Reid was a great coach. He was a great coach. He coached in Philadelphia for 15 years almost.
Right.
I think 14 years, but
Philadelphia.
his last 2 years it wasn't that great. Went 8-8 and 4-12. So, even if you've had a guy for a long time, sometimes you just got to move on if it's not working.
Pittsburgh had many coaches over the last 4 years? Like 4, 3.
They don't really fire their coach that often.
You pretty much either have to retire or finish under 500 2 years in a row to actually for them to move on. And
I don't necessarily think he's a bad coach. I just think that he's going to take the fall when the team sucks. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it.
I've said for years that, and I like Tomlin. I've always liked Tomlin. But I've said for years that people are going to start really paying attention once the last of the Cal recruits leave.
I got another one, too, to add to that. Do you have any, Jay or Dom, before I speak?
The one that popped to mind was Pat Shurmur, the Giants coach, because I feel like this year may be it. Because you're getting Quan back. It's true what Shannon Sharp said. The Giants are low key loaded. I think their defense is improving. Their offense is there. But this year, it's on Danny Jones and the coach. And if the Giants don't do nothing,
they got the Giants coming in last.
They're gonna fire their coach and they're gonna trade Daniel Jones. This year is it.
Who the fuck would want Daniel? Who would want Daniel Jones?
Stay healthy, bro.
Hey,
Saquon.
I said they're gonna trade him. I ain't saying who was gonna pick him up.
Yeah. Okay. Dom, you got any?
I mean, it might be a little premature, but I think Nagy in Chicago.
Oh, that was gonna be mine. After Zach Taylor.
Oh, he's definitely getting fired.
Matt Nagy.
Yes. Absolutely.
He's definitely getting fired.
Absolutely.
No question.
Give me under Jeeves again.
I don't even think he's on the. I don't even think he's on the hot seat. I guess he is on the hot seat. But I don't even think that's hot.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying. Like this guy's not a good coach. He should have already been gone.
That's why I kind of feel for Justin Fields, because if Nagy gets fired, so then they bring in. I mean, chances are they're going to fire Ryan Pace too if they fire Nagy, probably. So then next year you're talking about new GM, new head coach, no first-round pick, and a quarterback that is not part of that regime.
What about
they're going to blow the whole fucking team up?
What about Fangio? What about Fangio in Denver? Like, I know Denver sucks, but like they have not improved even since going there.
They never should have hired him in the first place. So if he gets fired, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get a new coach that's going to get a new quarterback, like whatever quarterback he wants to team up with, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers or somebody from the draft, then that's how it's going to work. The head coach, quarterback duo is going to set everything up.
I think Zach Taylor was
with the Giants.
Zach Taylor was the number one that came to my mind, but I'll give one that's a little bit more bold since we're all picking a bunch of shitty coaches right now.
I got another one too.
I think if the Cardinals slack, I think Flat Brim Kyle could be gone.
What did you just call him? Flat Brim Kyle?
Flat Brim Kyle.
Flat Brim Kyle. What is that guy's name? He's got a weird name.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah.
Cliff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the trend is with like the NFL, all these NFL teams. They're always going after coaches that look like they're like frat boys and stuff. Like, like the skinny young coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sean McVay trend. Like that's the thing with Zach. That's why Zach Taylor got a job.
Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. He's kind of a
freaking what's his name?
My mom always tells me with my new coach, and she like grew up a Bears fan. My mom did because she's from Illinois, but like she roots for the Packers for me now. But she always tells me, she's like, your coach is really cute. Matt LaFleur.
That's what a lot of girls say about like coaches.
Yeah, girls like Stefanski up in Cleveland is what I've heard from Cliff. Cliff says there's a lot of women
they're thirsty for these coaches.
That are thirsty for Stefanski.
He takes like 32-year-old
takes them to the playoff one time, and they're all throwing their panties at him, man.
And you'd be surprised how many female Saints fans I came across that had a thing for Sean Payton.
That's true. Yeah,
Why the fuck would they have a thing for Sean Payton with this? He makes that weird face where he sucks his lips in, like this. You guys know what I'm talking about too, right?
Yeah. Did you know they're making a making a documentary on him, and they're gonna put it on Netflix? And, dude, and they got Kevin James starring as him. It makes no sense.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that.
That's Sean Payton, bro. They're gonna have Kevin James. It's so crazy.
I'm gonna have to watch that just out of fucking pure curiosity.
Yeah, me too.
I think it comes out next year.
Hold up, y'all. I gotta show y'all something. Give me 1 sec. Share screen.
Oh, he's got the Sean Payton face. I guarantee it.
I do have the Sean Payton face.
Eating a big ad or something. Sean Payton. Sean Payton just looks like he lives at a coffee shop. Like, look at that dude.
It was a meme, but did you guys see that picture of Matt Patricia back with the Patriots, and he's walking around carrying a mop?
He's what?
He's walking around carrying a mop, and it wasn't even Photoshop.
Oh my god! I always called him pencils because he always had that little pencil in his ear, man.
Yeah, and no notepad.
Yeah,
he's such a fucking fool, bro.
He always had a pencil in his ear, and I was like, "What the fuck is this
fucking prop? Like, what are you, fucking Carrot Top?"
Yeah,
I know. And
Dude,
for some reason, it bothered
that.
me. I was like, "Man, I roll with pens, dog. Like, what year are we in? Pencils."
Like the coach will always get their visor and they'll stick a pin.
You might see Belichick
inside the visor.
He's also got a fucking notepad. It's not like you can write on the laminated thing with a fucking pencil. Even if you could, that was a goddamn Denny's menu anyways.
Denny's menu.
That's funny. That's funny.
Fucking Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia should get fired.
Thank God he got out of town. They would have kept him one more year. I'd have been in prison.
Now they got
it's pretty hilarious.
They got bite your kneecaps there now.
It's pretty hilarious that he's with the Patriots because the Eagles and Patriots has been having joint practices with each other. So Darius Slay is back with Matt Patricia technically, and Matt Patricia talked shit about Darius Slay and said, "Oh well, this guy thinks he's a top tier corner, but he's really not that fucking good." And, he said all this shit about him, and it got leaked when Darius Slay first signed with Philly. So the drama is cooking back up over
a lot of teams
here.
Are doing their joint practices this week because the Packers. And
I like it, bro. Working with other teams.
That too. Packers and Jets been doing that too because I've been seeing the truck there, and there's been a lot of memes in my Packers groups, and they're like, "Oh look, who brought the dump truck here?" You know,
the fucking Jets, bro. They've been saying Zach Wilson's been looking like shit during practice.
I don't want to. I don't know.
Zach Wilson.
I don't know, man. The Jets should have drafted a quarterback that can actually hit puberty. This guy really looks like a frat boy for real.
Zach Wilson is
his girlfriend's cute.
He looks like a ninth grader.
I will give him that. His girlfriend's cute.
Good.
He looks like a ninth grader.
Well, I mean, Fields looks 15, but
True. Fields
he doesn't look as young. He does not look as young as Zach Wilson, though.
Zach Wilson's pretty young looking. He looks like he's in a fraternity, but he went to BYU, so he loves Jesus.
There's no frats at BYU.
Yeah, there's no
Mormons.
frats. Yeah, there's no frats. Everyone's going to Bible
studies. It's weird for Zach Wilson because he's from the Mormon community, but now he's in New York. You lived in a place where there's literally nothing to do, and now he's in New York City, so it's probably wild for him.
And I will say is I saw a picture of his girlfriend. His girlfriend is pretty cute. Gotta say that.
Well, and James, you can say the same thing with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill went to BYU. Now he's in New Orleans.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Taysom Hill.
Man, that had to be such a culture change for Taysom Hill. Now, he got the bag, though. Taysom Hill got paid pretty well. He could chill at home and build whatever he wants.
Money, bro. He's a gadget player, and he got paid $16 million a year. That's ridiculous.
Packers cut him from the practice squad. He was with us for a while. That's where that's where he got picked up.
Sean Payton thinks he's such a genius for using Taysom Hill like that.
Yeah,
it's not that big of a deal. Everyone has figured out how the Saints are using him. They know he's not a threat to throw the ball, so it's just pretty much bringing back the Wildcat.
I mean, it's really there's successes on Jameis Winston and whether he can fix his turnover issue. That's really it.
a chance that they try to roll with that two-headed monster all year long because
That's going to be a disaster if they do that.
the fact is,
I think Jameis should get the job.
Jameis should be playing every snap.
if you cut Jameis's passing
I agree.
45-30, that should almost cut his interceptions in half, should it not? Just
I like
by
Just run the ball more. So
I like
throw the ball
Kamara.
50 times.
I was gonna say I do like Kamara a lot. I
Alvin
think he's a fantasy dog, man. For fantasy football.
That's true.
he's so overrated.
No, not in fantasy football.
Oh no, not in fantasy.
I had him on my team last year, and he was
Oh,
filthy.
Who'd you rather have, Dalvin Cook or Kamara?
Personally, Kamara because he's gonna stay
Kamara.
healthy.
Yeah, I got Kamara. I think Cook can.
I think
carry
Cook's
the ball
better.
I think
but
Cook's better, but
Kamara
Cook's not as
is-
healthy. I think Kamara's stronger than Cook.
Mm,
Yeah, Dalvin Cook.
So you're saying you take him because he's not injury prone?
Yeah,
Fair enough.
he is the healthier back. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Septum
Well,
boy.
How about
He's got that
how
little septum ring.
some sports morons? Y'all got any?
Jay killed mine in the
Say it anyway, bro. Fuck what they be saying.
Yeah, say whatever.
Say whatever you want.
I'm still saying it's Justin Field.
Why? Because he said that the NFL is slow.
Well, like I said, Jay killed mine in the green room.
The green room, bro. We're not that official,
You can have a different sports
Okay,
moron of the week.
I don't think big, you'll never be.
bro. If you think
Green
he's a
room.
moron, then say he's a moron.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
It's fun because it's hard for me to even say that now because I'm rooting for that kid. Obviously, I shouldn't be rooting for anyone on the Bears because they're my rival. But it's like I want to see him.
Oh, yeah. Where are you going with this? Never mind. Maybe you shouldn't have said it. You're
Because-
rooting for him.
Because I love
He
seeing,
wants him to be good.
I love seeing trends get reversed and
Oh, because Ohio State
He's Ohio
quarterback.
State quarterback.
He's a Ohio State quarterback. Yep.
suffered history. with
They've already. Cleveland Browns fans have enough to be proud of. They don't need that much to have Justin Fields ball it out.
back to the top of the division and Green Bay and Minnesota to descend to the bottom. That's the only reason.
No one
Yeah.
really gives a fuck if he's from Ohio State. Like, I think people overblow this stuff like so much about like what schools players go to.
Ohio
If you're-
State fans
if you're
care, though.
good, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
good, then you're good. If
Well,
you're
the thing
not, then
about-
you're not.
But Ohio
I
State fans,
agree-
they're
I
going
agree
to
with
follow it.
But also, people pay attention to trends, and the trend is there
They're not
hasn't been
good.
good quarterbacks that come out of Ohio State. That right there can't be ignored. Now, I do two things can be.
Okay.
I do agree with you that if you're good, you're good. It shouldn't matter where you come from, right? But we said the same thing, with what?
Well, what about Alabama? What about Alabama quarterbacks are terrible,
I
or
think
they've never been good in the NFL. So is Jalen Hurts, Tua automatically trash because they're from like
No, I
Alabama?
I wouldn't say that much because even then, Alabama has a storied history with quarterbacks of old, like Stabler, Namath, Starr.
Right.
So,
And
Yeah, back in the
I'm not
day.
gonna put that curse on Alabama or anything.
Alabama, the thing about Alabama is their quarterbacks, they're surrounded by literally, a running back that's going to go in the top 2 rounds, multiple receivers that'll probably go in the first round, multiple alignment. That's not even getting to the defense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Back-
Ohio State and Alabama have something in common that most of their players are on the defensive side of the ball that are getting drafted.
Yeah.
Like Ohio State is right up there with Alabama in terms of drafted defensive players. They get them every year. I have a sports moron of the week. James actually helped me out with it because we were talking about it just a few segments ago. But my sports moron of the weeks is everyone who bought a Tim Tebow Jacksonville Jaguars jersey this year.
That's
Bro, what are you guys thinking?
They sold
Like,
out as
you-
soon as they came out.
You can't get a Trevor Lawrence, a Travis Etienne, a DJ Chark. Like, I know that team isn't good, but bro, why would you spend your money on a what if player that is playing a different
didn't even make the
position
team.
that didn't make the team? So no, everyone who bought one, shame on you.
Yeah,
Idiot.
Now you're $100. Now you wasted $120.
you might as well get a Percy Miller, Raptors, or Charlotte.
Percy Miller.
He played in
You might as well buy a DeMarco Murray Eagles jersey.
I think it's an example of people trying to bring old trends back because 10 years ago, Tebow Mania was the thing. But it pretty much now is like if you were to walk into a bar and see somebody with bell bottoms on. Was it a trend back then? Yeah. But now you just look terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
I'll be honest. I have a hard time with the trends anyway nowadays, Jay. Like we were just talking about the. I was just talking to Mark Barron about this a little bit ago in Mafi. We were talking about like dudes that have purses. Like we don't get it.
Jesus Christ.
Like
yeah.
we don't get it. You know, we don't even really get the fanny pack over the shoulder thing. Like I have a wallet. I'm pretty OG.
say that too. Like, might be watching.
What's that?
Literally, I have a wallet on my phone.
Don might be watching. He's got one of them things like poorly disguised as not a purse, but a purse.
Yeah, it's a purse.
It's like,
It's
oh,
stupid.
merch.
Like,
It's
why do men need to wear a purse?
like a day pack or something.
What do you guys have in there? That's what I'm wondering. Like, I put some cash in my wallet or my cards. Like, and I barely have cash. Everything's usually
all
plastic,
you need is your
you
debit
know?
card and your ID and some
Right.
cash.
You know, if
Like,
you're-
what do you have
There's
in
no
your day
reason
pack?
for men to carry stuff.
just be a man and get a backpack.
Yeah, or
Listen-
get a backpack. If
Listen,
you need to
even
carry
if I have a headache, like let's say I have a headache, if one of my homies is like, "Hold on, bro, I got you. I got some Tylenol in this thing, dude. We're never kicking it again."
Mm-mm.
Like,
Yeah,
we
that's a
kick-
violation.
That's fair.
I just don't want you to have a day pack, bro. That's a
Actually-
little.
I'm purposely kicking it with that dude because I know he's got Tylenol.
I'm not.
If
I
some
don't care. I mean, if he pulls out,
guy that I know that has
if he pulls out some Tylenol from his man purse, I just don't trust him. That could be anything in there. So yeah, I'm not like I don't want the Tylenol at that point or whatever the hell
Yeah.
it could possibly be.
prohibit.
You guys want some hand sanitizer? Pulls it out, zip, out of his little purse.
Yeah, bro, this is
Bedazzled.
not.
But somehow the wrestlers still to this day, each and every one of them get away with the fanny pack. Hulk Hogan's been rocking a fanny pack for fucking 30 years.
Yeah,
Well,
Hulk Hogan's
Hulk
weird
Hogan.
too. Hulk Hogan's been getting
He's also
canceled.
Hulk Hogan.
He's been getting canceled for the past year. Ever since he shot that porno.
Which he was nailing his best friend's wife.
I know. It never
Like,
gets
Hogan,
old.
Oh
Hogan
my
is
God.
like grade A level dirtbag.
And, like,
bro.
Okay, who's a bigger legend? Who's a bigger legend? Hulk Hogan or Dennis Rodman
Dennis Rodman.
when it comes to fucking other people's women?
Dennis Rodman is the king, bro. He is fucking Carmen Electra.
He
Yeah,
fucked Carmen Electra
But
in
I
the middle
will
of the
say-
season.
but I will say it would be Rodman 1, Hogan 1A. It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close. That's a good one.
It's
Hogan was a superstar for a long time.
Mhm.
Like a superstar.
That was the worm. He really
I
lost
don't know.
his mind when Chuck Daly died. Like, he really lost his shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember. No, we traded to the
He's
Spurs.
so controversial, Dennis Rodman, especially when he went to North Korea.
That was the first time I can remember, other than Denzel Washington in Demolition Man. That's the only other time I remember. This was in the 90s. I'm like, why does this black guy have blonde hair?
Dennis Rodman was his own person. Like he
Oh,
really
yeah.
didn't give a fuck
Like
what
their
anyone
best
thinks.
player of all time.
Golden Lord, the Meteor Man.
Best
He did not give a fuck
best
what anyone thought
rebounder
about him. Like
ever. Best rebounder ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
Dude,
even talking about him as a basketball player. I'm talking about him as a person. He did.
Oh,
He,
yeah,
he
right,
really,
definitely.
literally did not care what anyone thinks about
Listen, the dude,
how he
fucking-
dresses or his hair or any of that
or
stuff.
his
Like,
music, he kicked it with Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam all the time. They were homies. Like he
Yeah,
was
that's weird.
He was
That
always
is
at
weird.
He was always at grunge concerts. Like the dude listened to like Pearl Jam.
He loves rock and roll
Nirvana.
music.
Like dude was listening to Nirvana before he stepped out in the court and fucking balled it up with
For
Jordan.
real.
Like he's a wild dude, bro. But
Yeah,
I
he's a
love,
legend for real.
love him.
I like Dennis.
I love that he walks to the beat of his own drum. And once again, he was fucking Carmen Electra.
And he did that WWE thing that Phil Jackson got pissed about it.
That was
Dennis,
hilarious.
you're so
That was
selfish.
hilarious. The NWO thing.
Bro, The Last
Don't
Dance
shit
was
on
so
me,
funny.
bro.
I remember the part where he was like, he asked for vacation, and he was like, "Oh, well, what do you mean you can't go on a vacation right now? Like, we're getting ready to play, and like all this other stuff." And he's like, "Well, how much vacation would you give me? I'll take however long you gave me."
Yeah.
So they gave him like 48 hours.
I will say, at least he was like upfront and a straight shooter about it, as opposed to people like Kyrie Irving who fake funerals and then go party. You know what I mean? Like Kyrie Irving's one
I just
was like,
don't feel like playing, so that's why I didn't show up.
Yeah.
Kyrie is crazy.
he had to get it out of his system, bro. Rodman wanted to go party. Rodman party harder than a lot of people. That was always the rumor. Like you hear from like Tony Kukoc. I think Tony Kukoc made a quote last year, and he said, "Oh, when I party with Dennis Rodman, I would have to take like a week or two off of drinking." And I'm just thinking, like, Rodman's getting this internet.
He's an animal, wild animal.
Rodman was shooting shots. He was on the Cedar Rose in the gym and shooting shots at Kamikaze. I was like, this dude is a transformer.
Yeah, he's a legend for real. But my sports moron is there was a picture taken at the Eagles practice. A lot of former Alabama players like Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Damian Harris, and Landon Dickerson. They all went to Alabama. They all played for Alabama. So like everyone's talking shit about it, about Jalen Hurts, saying that, oh, he's not a real Alabama player because he didn't go to Alabama. He went to Oklahoma. He's really an Oklahoma player. First of all, a few things I want to touch on. Number one, he got his degree from Bama.
Mm-hmm.
He played 3 years. He was the starting quarterback of Alabama for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He played 1 season for Oklahoma. After he got his degree, after he got benched and came back and Tua got hurt in the SEC championship against Georgia when they were losing by double digits, came back into the game and led them to the win and effectively got them back in the playoffs.
What's up, Lindy? Lindy Enzo.
So if you're going to say that Jalen Hurts is not an Alabama player, then I cannot take you seriously. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, he's an Alabama player.
I don't understand.
I don't buy into that whole transfer shit even really matters, especially when you played bulk of your college career for a different university anyway. So
Yeah.
People don't know what they're talking about.
He could have won a national title at Oklahoma, and he's still going to be known as a Crimson Tide. He did most of his damage there.
yeah,
He graduated from there, just like James said. So he's known as a Crimson Tide. He played 1 year at Oklahoma. That's it. Then he got drafted.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, for real.
And the only reason he left was because he wanted to go somewhere and actually play, because he was not going to play if he stayed.
Yeah. The competitor in him wanted to go play elsewhere, and that's smart. And he, even his character issues this offseason, like quizzing people in the hallway about questions about the offense and stuff like that, that's good. It shows the competitor in them.
Yeah, you don't hear anything about Tua doing that. Probably because he's left-handed Dak, but different story for a different.
Left-handed Dak.
I'll be honest. I agree with you though, Dom. I've never been high on the Tua train. I'm not.
Who do you guys think will have a better season, Tua or Jalen?
Jalen.
Yeah, I think Jalen for
I
sure.
agree.
Jalen can actually put the ball downfield. Tua can't right now.
Yeah, I just don't trust his arm strength either. Yeah, I don't trust it.
Either.
He's also a better leader. He's a winner. Like, the guy just knows what he's doing better than Tua.
I think Miami, like their DNA mostly now is to run the football and to play really good defense. Like they have a pretty good defense, and then they have like Myles Gaskin, who's a pretty underrated running back. He's pretty good. So that's what they do. They run the football and they play good defense. That's what Miami does.
Yeah, Tua's not going to win you a lot of games.
No.
Why
Their
would they
defense-
draft him in the top 5? Like
Their
the
de-
Dolphins
their
have
de-
been saying
Their defense
not-
is good.
they're not 100% on Tua, which is
And I
why
like
they've been.
And I like Flores as a coach too, to be honest.
They're not 100% on Tua, and they've been monitoring the Deshaun Watson situation with the Texans.
I think there's a chance. Maybe
That'd be nice for them.
Maybe not till the offseason, after this season's over.
So I mean,
they're keeping a close eye on Watson.
If I was Jay, I'd rip up some of those defensive players from Miami though. If you with some picks, Miami has some good defensive players.
They gotta wait till this stuff is settled first to get the value, because they're not gonna give value with there being too many questions with Deshaun. But they need to wait. They need to wait until like next offseason if they're really gonna trade him.
But I will say Watson to Miami, that would be interesting. That's a nice little move there for Miami if they could do that, especially with that defense.
As far as where he wanted to play, he wanted to go initially. He wanted to go there or the Jets. So
I don't know why he would want to go to the Jets, but
me neither. But
play for the New York Jets.
Wow, I mean, playing for the Jets is just as bad as playing for the Texans.
I like their new coach. Like, I kind of like Robert Saleh. You know, they can't go anywhere but up, from Adam Gase, as Jay said. Adam Gase is Adam Gase. But yeah, that franchise just don't know how to win anymore. They haven't won since Bart Scott was there.
I don't think the Jets' defense is any good, but the core is a little bit better. I feel like.
Yeah. Their defense is just going to give up too many points. It's like Atlanta. Atlanta has somewhat of a, capable offense with like Calvin Ridley and with Kyle Pitts and stuff, but their defense is going to give up like 40 fucking points a game. Like their defense is just such butt cheeks,
Yeah, there's probably 5, 6, 7, 8 in the league that are all really similar to that. I mean, you're talking Dallas, Atlanta,
Carolina, honestly, to me.
Potentially Carolina. Defense is ass.
So who's going to have the best record out of those three teams?
Out of who?
Carolina,
Dallas, Carolina, and
Dallas,
the Jets.
Dallas for sure.
Dallas. Yeah.
Assuming that Dak plays.
As much as I want the Jets or the Carolina too, but being realistic, Dallas.
I think Dallas though. Yeah. I even feel safe.
How many wins is Dallas going to finish with? Do you guys think?
Say it again.
How many games do you think Dallas is going to win?
8 and 9.
8 or 9.
I think they go 8 and 9 or 9 and 8.
Yeah, exactly.
I say 8 and 9. I like 8 and 9. Yeah.
The assumption.
All right.
I picked Washington to win the division.
I'll be honest. I like Washington is a better team.
And Washington's a great team. We're going to talk about the NFC East next week, so I'm not going to say everything that I'm going to say, but I feel like any team can honestly win this division. I don't think any of the teams are that good. And I think Washington is a great team that doesn't have a real answer at their quarterback situation.
I think Washington has the highest ceiling, but I'll talk about it next week.
Don't be surprised.
We'll get into that next Tuesday.
Don't be surprised if Garoppolo's healthy come before the trade deadline, if Washington makes that move for Garoppolo.
That could happen. But we'll talk about that next week. Before we sign off, guys, thank you guys for enjoying the show, watching the show. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We will be making a channel for the Gauntlet. It has not happened yet, but I'm still working on a few things that I want to do. With that being said, you guys can obviously follow me on here, covering the Eagles pretty much every day, every week. And if something happens, I will keep you updated. And then you guys can obviously follow me on Twitter as well. Twitter links are all in the description. But that being said, guys, we will be back next Tuesday. And before we sign off, I would like for you guys, you gentlemen, to shout out your stuff that you're working on.
Right on. You guys can catch me on Cage Ragers. It's a MMA page. We talk about the boxing game, the fight game in general on Facebook. There was no UFC event this last weekend, but there is one coming up this Saturday. Kelvin Gastelum fights Jared Cannonier. So we're going to talk about that, discuss that.
That's a good one.
as far as good fight, good middleweight contender fight. On Thursday nights, you can catch me on the Sip Off, as well as these gentlemen here. They show up on the Sip Off as well, hosted by Megan Price. The season debut for season 2.
The Price is Right.
Is this Thursday at 8 o'clock. And you guys can also catch me here on the Gauntlet on Tuesday nights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But hold up. You got me thinking, since you're talking about UFC and boxing and all that stuff, I'm just going to say real quick, one more sports moron. Jake Paul and how he made like a big list with like a
ridiculous.
damn. I'm sure y'all seen it. Like,
yeah,
it was like a big piece of paper that had a list
on
of
there.
It was like
all the fighters that is on his hit list or whatever. I basically think he would lose every single one other than his little brother.
Yeah. I think he could probably beat his brother.
Damage so bad that he has to
I commented to Mike Booth on this because I didn't understand. Like, his brother had a boxing fight against another YouTuber and lost to this guy named KSI. They did it twice. The first one was a draw. The second one he lost to. But, like, he was so far down on the list. It was like 7 or 8. And I'm like, bro, if you fight Canelo, fight Usman, fight all these killers, and then all of a sudden you're going to call out like a dude from YouTube who has a 1-0
against any of them.
Yeah, the hit list is just so stupid.
He won't live through
the hit list
on those first 5 names. If he fights all 5 of those guys, he'll die in the 3rd fight.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm
for
here.
Sure.
He won't win a single one of them.
I'm here for.
He might.
He could beat his brother, but I do not see him beating anyone on the list.
I can't ever recall seeing a fight in the ring, but he's high there on my list.
He's definitely not going to beat Canelo.
No,
I think he needs to stop. Like, I know Woodley's lost a lot of fights lately, but like, he's really overlooking Woodley. Woodley just show up, might knock his ass out in his own home city in fucking Cleveland. It's
like
not
I think all of them will knock his ass out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just can't believe Canelo was even on that list. That's absolutely crazy.
I mean, it's a wish list.
He must want to die.
Go ahead, Jay.
That's by the point.
For it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think he does want to die, even if it makes him. Some of those guys really need the money, so to a certain extent, you can't blame them. But it's like
that YouTube check ain't good enough for him.
Yeah, but anyway, you can catch me on the Sports Gauntlet, which is just like James said, every Tuesday night here at 8 o'clock, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. You can also catch me on the Sip Off, hosted by Megan Price. That will commence. Hey, when did she say it was going to commence? This week, right?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday? Sure. Okay. So, yeah, I'll be on there. Also, I am a staff writer and journalist for Visual Dramatics. That's VisD Productions on Roku. I just got done with a live commentary on Simone Biles, and I will be doing one this weekend, and it'll be interesting. And it is, are you spiritual or religious? Something to think about.
Oh, that's good. Y'all definitely got to check that shit out.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
So you can catch me on there when that one gets aired. Shout out Craig Davis. Shout out Marshall Hill, my Unconventional Kings fam. Also catch me on Twitter at NellyNell13, NELI, NEL13. Peace.
Hell yeah.
Oh, me?
Dom, you got anything?
Yeah, Dom, it's your turn, bro.
Catch me here on Tuesdays, 8 p.m.-ish. The Gauntlet, hosted by our very own James Tatum. I guess tip off here and there. I'm also on the NBA Carousel, the NFL Carousel. NBA Carousel hosted by Megan Price, I think on I can't even remember what night or night.
I think it's Monday night.
Yeah, Monday. The NFL Carousel, that's hosted by Alex Fleming. I think that's on I thought that was on Mondays too. I can't remember. So long. My NBA and NFL teams have been so irrelevant for so long. Like I'm the lone member on the NFL Carousel for Lions football, and
not surprised.
Like on draft day or on the draft special, but other than that, just waiting for the season to get back together, and then we'll get that going again. And yeah,
peace out, plan, fellas. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, thanks for having us. Good show, guys.